I am wandering the streets of Lisbon right now in the old quarter Alfama, or the Moorish quarter, and we are on a quest for some Fado music. This is the traditional style of music that is so famous in Portugal in general and in Lisbon perhaps in particular.
Folhas e bandeiras já sem cor, tal qual aquele dia em que chegaste, tal qual aquele dia, meu amor.
Portugal might not be the most famous and visited of the two countries that make up the Iberian Peninsula, but it is of course a place that has a long and complex history, one that has been deeply intertwined with that of Spain. It too has seen its fair share of different cultural, religious, and political changes over the centuries. The Romans were here in ancient times, the Muslims ruled and influenced the culture for many centuries, and several Christian polities have left their mark since then. This long, diverse history is perhaps most clearly seen in the Castelo de São Jorge, the old castle on top of the hill in Lisbon, where rulers of various dynasties have, lived, basically. Visiting this place, you can sometimes see the layers of history right before you. In terms of architecture and religion, it is of course the Catholic Christian heritage that is most visible, especially today. Indeed, because of the great earthquake of Lisbon in 1755, which destroyed a major part of the historic city, most of the great buildings here are from the modern period. But that doesn't make them any less beautiful or inspiring, of course. There are several amazing churches and cathedrals that you can visit and which give you a taste of that classic, beautiful Catholic architecture and art. And one of the most famous and striking of the religious historical buildings in the city is Geronimo's Monastery. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is a huge structure that includes both the monastery itself as well as the Santa Maria Church, and the intricate architecture on both the outside and inside is simply amazing. This is one of those buildings that you can just spend a whole day looking at and still find new details. The monastery was constructed in the early 1500s, around the same time that Vasco da Gama went on his famous journeys. It was a monastery specifically for the monks and nuns of the Order of Saint Jerome, a Catholic religious order founded in the 14th century that has a strong monastic character, emphasizing cloistered life and isolation. And in Lisbon, it would have been in this monastery that the monks spend their time dedicating their life to prayer and communal living. And there is certainly a sense of peace and quiet as you walk around the halls and the gardens, even though it is usually filled with tourists like yourself. But one of the things that we were most excited about exploring here in Portugal was their living musical traditions. In particular, the traditional kind of music that is so strongly associated with Portugal in particular, Fado.
It's a very powerful, very emotional kind of music that the Portuguese themselves see as kind of embodying the very soul of the people of this country. It is accompanied by guitars, both Spanish guitars, but also the more unique Portuguese guitar, which is very interesting. It sort of looks like a mixture between like a bouzouki and a mandolin or something. It's very interesting, sounds very beautiful. And it's a music that is very sorrowful, very emotional. The singer usually sings with a very sort of powerful voice. It is very powerful to be, especially to be in the same room with. So right now we are here. We're trying to find some good spot to listen to music. It is pretty easy, honestly. If you wander around this area, especially at night, you are undoubtedly going to find some Fado music playing in some restaurants or bars, etc. It's really interesting just environment to wander around like this at night. So we're going to keep looking. Hopefully we're going to find some good spots. And if so, then you're gonna find out.
Fado is a music genre, the origins of which are contested among Portuguese people and scholars. At the very least, the earliest evidence of the music being performed are in the early to mid-19th century in Lisbon, where Fado appears to have been born in areas of the city like Bairro Alto and Alfamo. These were districts where mostly the lower classes lived, and the music seems to have been very much an expression of the working class, being performed and enjoyed by sailors and courtesans and other such people of the lower classes. Both the performances themselves, spontaneously held in taverns or gardens and other places, as well as, to some degree, the people performing the music, were thus kind of rough, and the higher classes of society initially came to look down on Fado as a crude kind of music for the uneducated. The style of Fado was intense, full of emotion, and dealt with topics like poverty or life at sea. Usually there was one performer who would both sing and dance/do percussion, accompanied by a single Portuguese guitar. But over the course of the 19th century, the dancing aspect seems to have disappeared more and more, and today, the ensemble of a Fado performance can often include several more people playing classical guitar, bass guitar, and other instruments. The music itself is quite distinct, with a focus on dramatic vocal performances with a lot of emotion. Some have traced the music itself and its influences partly to immigrants from Brazil. Others want to trace it back to Moorish times and their music, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly where these influences came from, and in general, the sum of its parts is certainly a unique and beautiful style characteristic of Portugal in particular. Over time, Fado started to become more popular with the other strata of society, including the upper classes, through its spread into more shared venues and public festivals, for example. By the 20th century, Fado became a national sensation, with several performers and singers becoming famous all over Portugal and even internationally. The most famous is probably Amália Rodrigues, often called the Queen of Fado, a tremendous singer who recorded many popular albums during the 20th century. Being in Portugal and wanting to experience the local culture and its history, finding some Fado music is kind of an essential part. It's still performed not only in more official concert circumstances, but in local bars and restaurants around the city, particularly in the Alfamo and Bairro Alto districts, just like how the tradition started 2 centuries ago.
Não sente a cruz tão pesada na longa estrada da desventura. Eu só entendo fado.
This musical tradition can be experienced in just the same way as back then, and luckily, after some searching, we found a great local spot.
Eu já não sei se fiz bem